Hello children, in this video we will begin with Unit 1.6, The Alchemy of Nature. The author of this lesson is Raksha Bharadia. She has studied at Loreto College in Kolkata. She is also an editor of the book Chicken Soup for the Indian Soul, which is a famous series of short stories not only in India but also in the US. So, children, what do you understand by alchemy? So, in the olden days, that is, in the medieval period, people used to believe that through chemistry they can convert any metal into gold, and the person who practiced alchemy is called as an alchemist. So, children, the belief of the people on alchemy was totally magical and mysterious. So, in the same way, in this chapter, nature is described as magical because you do not know when and how nature can change everything. The author has described nature as the best teacher in our lives. Okay, children, now let's begin with the lesson. We will first read the poem that is in front of you. To see a world in a grain of sand and a heaven in a wild flower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. By William Blake. Something as tiny as a grain of sand can spark off an idea or imagination of a huge significance to the world. One can witness and experience the beauty of heaven in something as small as wildflower and derive joy forever. Only one should have the eyes and time to see it. Infinity is endless space, but your small palm can hold the destiny of earth through your efforts. Eternity is endless time, but just an hour in your life can make a difference to the world forever. Great deeds can surpass the limits of time and space. They never die. So, children, I'll just explain what is there. So, children, this lesson begins with a few lines of poem by William Blake, who was one of the famous British poet. So, these lines are based on nature. It conveys that even a tiny particle in nature can transform into an expensive and beautiful pearl. Thus, we need to respect even the tiny things in this universe. It also says that we can see heaven when we look at the beauty of a wildflower, and this we can experience only if we have the right vision. Further, it says that infinity, that is endless, which is across the universe, but a small palm can change the world. That means we, being the small creature, with our one decision, we can change the world with our entire efforts. It says that eternity is endless, but your good deeds can make a difference in the world forever. Like, we have so many great leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, Malala Yousafzai, Mother Teresa, who have done great deeds to change the world for good. Okay, children, now let's read this passage. We instinctively turn to outdoor activities and nature as a way of relaxing and enhancing our well being. Nature soothes and nurtures. Nature fulfills and motivates. Nature whispers and commands. Are you listening? When I do, it leaves me in complete awe. We have a hibiscus plant in our garden. Every fortnight, a flower blooms on it, big, bright, and tender. Through the day it smiles with the sun and dances with the wind. But as evening approaches, it starts wilting. The morning after, it withers completely, and by evening, it falls and becomes one with the earth again. The flower comes to life only for a day, yet it does so in full splendor. What if we too lived our life, however short, to its fullest? So, children, the meanings are: instinctively means by natural instinct. Awe means a feeling of wonder. Withers means dries up. Splendor means greatness. So I'll begin here with the explanation. So children, the actual chapter that is there starts here, that is from this passage, where the author tells that how relaxing and enriching nature is, how it motivates us to live our life refreshed. So whenever most of us go on a vacation, it is mostly to a hill station or somewhere near the nature because it calms us down. So the author tells us to listen to the call of nature, and when we do listen to it, it leaves us in complete wonder or amazement. So further, the author tells that she has a hibiscus plant in her garden. The flower blooms at every fortnight, bright and big. It smiles and dances through the day, but by evening it dries and dies out. The next morning, it completely decomposes into the earth. So children, here we have a lesson behind the hibiscus flower. That is, that the flower had only one day of its life, but still it lived its life to the full. So, in the same way, we too should live our life, that is our present, and make every day a happy day. Okay, children, now let's read this passage. We went to a rocky beach and saw the spread of the majestic ocean and the rocks alongside, carved, sculpted, and shaped by the water. Water is so gentle, rock so hard, yet as the water flows over it every day, for years the rock gives in. It takes the shape that the water commands. Our problems are so colossal and we are so small, yet if we persist. So children, let's see the meanings. Majestic means having or showing impressive beauty. Sculpted means to create something by carving. Colossal means very large. So in this passage, the author is given an example that they had gone to a rocky beach where they saw the vast ocean whose waves had sculpted and shaped the rocks that came in the way of the waves. We have learned about the works of the river in geography last year, right? Where the waves continuously hits the rock and the hard rocks break into pieces. So you can imagine the magical wonder of nature. Water is so gentle, but yet it cuts the hard rocks into tiny pieces. The rocks take the shape that the water commands. So children, what is the message behind this example? It gives us a message that however big our problems may be, but if we are determined like the water, then we can come out of any kind of problems in our lives. Okay children, now let's read this passage. We saw small bits of grass peeping through the small cracks in a concrete pavement. It left us thinking, however impossible things may look, there is always an opening. We saw a tree bare of all leaves in the cold winter months. We thought its chapter was over, but 3 months passed. Spring set in, and the tree was back to its green majesty once again, full of leaves, flowers, birds, and life. What if we too had the conviction that, however difficult things are right now, it will not remain so forever? Remember, this too shall pass. So, children, let's see the meanings. Pavement, a raised, paved, or asphalted path for pedestrians at the side of a road. Conviction means strong, firm belief. So, children, now I'll begin with the explanation. So, children, you might have seen many times that a tiny grass comes out from concrete or from the pavements, right? So, here also, just like the water, the grass has also made its way through this hard concrete. So, children, however impossible the task may be, there is always a bright opening on the other side. Even in the worst times of our life, we need to do our best. We should not quit. We should also be like this grass and make our way out throughout all the obstacles in our life. Next, the author has given an example of a tree whose leaves are all gone in the winter season, and it looks like the tree is drying. But just after 3 months, that is during the spring season, the tree is back with full of life, with leaves, flowers, and birds chirping on it. So, children, we too should be like this tree. The tree might have looked dead from the outside during the winter season, but within it's still alive. So, children, situations or problems in life are temporary, but we are permanent in this world, and all the bad times will pass away. Okay, children, now let's read this passage. We saw an army of ants lugging a fly, which was at least 10 times the ant's size. The ants organized themselves around the fly, lifted it on frail feelers, and carried it to quite a distance. Their teamwork and perseverance were impressive. What if we too are consistent, organized, focused? Spider webs are delicate, yet very strong. A rainbow colors the entire sky. Oysters take in a grain of sand. They open up with a pearl. Innumerable stars shine across the infinite sky. Okay, children, let's see the meanings. Lugging means carry or drag with great effort. Frail means weak legs. Perseverance means constant efforts in spite of obstacles. So, children, now I'll begin with the explanation. So, the next example is of the army of ants who can carry 10 times more weight than their size. They work with their team in an organized way. So, we too should learn from these ants to work in a team. As in sports, teamwork is very important, right? So, in the same way, teamwork is needed even in our lives. We need to be focused, organized, and put in more efforts in all the works we do in our lives. The author has also given the examples of the strength of the spider webs and numerous colors in a rainbow, and a small thing like a grain in the oysters can create a precious pearl. So, looking at all these examples, we should know that we are a part of nature and we should learn the qualities of the nature. Okay, children, let's read this passage. Clouds take new shapes with every passing moment. The wind makes trees dance with unhindered passion. Water without hint of ego changes its form according to the dictates of the sun and the wind. When we see a caterpillar turn into a butterfly, a flower into a fruit, we experience the alchemy of nature. We touch it and become gold ourselves. So the meanings are: unhindered means not obstructed. Dictates means order authoritatively. So I'll begin with the explanation here. So here the author has given various examples of the clouds changing its shape without getting tired, and is always ready for a new change or shape. How the invisible wind makes the tree dance with its force. How the water changes its form with the commands of the sun and wind without having an ego. The author has tried to explain the alchemy or the magic of nature, like the caterpillar turning into a beautiful butterfly and a flower into a delicious fruit. The author is telling us to look around the nature and learn something from it. The author is comparing nature to gold, where she tells that what if we touch nature and become gold ourselves? So, children, nature does have magical powers, not the one which we watch in movies, but the way nature works is a magic in itself. We have seen it through the various examples we saw in this lesson. So, children, we have now completed with the explanation. I hope this lesson has inspired and changed your perspective towards life. Okay, children, thank you for listening. Take care.